this is the Halo Travels. So this channel will mostly be about my experiences as a teacher here in China and my experiences traveling around the world. So if you want to come along on my journey, please subscribe below. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is get started of how I ended up in China. So this actually is not my first time in the country. In 2016, I came here as a foreign exchange student at Tarbin Institute of Technology, or Hagongda, as it is known here. And while I was in that program, I got to meet some amazing, some of the nicest people that I've ever met. I had a lot of truly great experiences, and I really enjoyed myself while in the program. Previously, prior to it, I hadn't really traveled all that much, but I knew that traveling was something that I really loved and that I wanted to do going forward, and that's a conclusion that I came to. So that was my junior year of university, and then my senior year, I thought I really wanted to go to law school. Going to law school is something that I had wanted to do the majority of my life, and so it was just something that I saw as automatic. That was obviously the next step that I needed to take, and so I took the LSATs. I studied for it for months, took the LSATs, did all of the applications, and I was fortunate. I got into some great schools and I got some pretty substantial scholarships, but something I realized was that the scholarships were not enough. So when I was in university, I was very lucky in that I graduated university with only $7,000 in student loans, which is almost unheard of, especially because I went to school out of state. Is the first one. I went to a private school. I lived on campus, and I didn't work most of my time in university. I worked during the summers, but during school I really focused on school, and I didn't work during the school year. So to do all of that, have that combination, and to still graduate far below the national $30,000 average was something I was really fortunate in, and something that I took great pains and made a lot of sacrifices in the school that I went to, specifically for that reason. Even though the school is an amazing school, I'm not saying that the school I went to wasn't amazing. But yeah, so I graduated with only $7,000 in student loans, and I knew that, for example, one of the law schools that I got into, the scholarship that they gave me was an 80 to an 85% scholarship, and so that was around $30 odd thousand off of my tuition. However, that's still 15 to 20,000, or 15 to 20% that I still have to pay, and then on top of that, the school is out of state, so I would need to either get a place on campus, because they did offer on-campus housing, or I would need to go off campus and find an apartment. And they advise you not to work your first year, so I'd be taking out loans for all of that. And so it came out to being, their estimates was something like $60,000 a year is how much would be necessary to fund yourself for tuition and room and board and the like. And I realized, even with this scholarship, that's still around $30,000 a year. So by the time I graduated 3 years later, that's $90,000, and so that was part of it. Another part was that I started school when I was 5, right? Started kindergarten when I was 5. If I went straight through, and when I graduated from law school, I would be 25, 26, and I would have spent the majority of my youth, a full quarter of the estimated lifetime, right? Spent it in a classroom, and I didn't want to do that, or at least I didn't want to do it at this point. So I decided that I was going to get out and take a gap year, and I ended up. I had already had my TEFL certificate, teaching English as a foreign language certificate. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go teach abroad. And my choices, some of the choices were like Japan, China, South Korea, Vietnam. However, I already had a background in Chinese language learning. I started learning Chinese when I was around 17 years old. So China was the obvious place for me to go, which is how I ended up in China, or made the decision to come to China to teach English. And then from there, what I did, starting in around September of 2018, I started applying to jobs, doing interviews. I applied to a lot of jobs. I did a lot of interviews, and I was lucky enough to be offered different positions for different schools. And in the end, I ended up signing a contract with a school through an agency, and I currently teach at a public university here in China. So here in China, I teach first year English majors and business English majors. Last semester, I taught 11 classes and around 500 students. This semester, I teach a little less. I teach 9 classes and around 400 students. In total, each week I work around 18 hours, which for a month comes out to 72 hours for a month. And so far, it's been a really great experience. Alright, so if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.